Hey there. Ever wonder about the air we breathe? I mean, could there be a link between that and conditions like Parkinson's disease? We're going deep on some interesting research today, looking at how air pollution might actually be playing a role in Parkinson's.
Yeah, it's not just a coincidence. As we see more cases of Parkinson's, we're also dealing with these growing concerns about air pollution.
Okay, so let's break this down. This deep dive takes us to the Journal of the American Medical Association, where a team of researchers really dug into this question. They followed a huge group of people in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa over 17 years. And it wasn't just medical records, they were looking at air quality data, too. They wanted to see if exposure to certain pollutants was connected to Parkinson's.
And what they found was kind of alarming. They were focused on PM2.5, those tiny particles, you can't even see them, from things like car exhaust, power plants, industrial stuff. PM2.5 is a kind of particulate matter. It's a broader term, or all those little bits of solids and liquids floating in the air.
The stuff you just know you're breathing in. Okay, so what's the connection to Parkinson's with this PM 2.5?
Well, the study found a strong link, actually. Every time the PM2.5 exposure went up, we're talking 10 micrograms per cubic meter, the risk of developing Parkinson's jumped significantly, about 20%. And it gets even more concerning. They found that the link was even stronger for a specific type of Parkinson's called akinetic rigid Parkinson's.
Akinetic rigid Parkinson's. What's different about that type?
Well, it's often associated with faster disease progression. So it's not just about whether you develop Parkinson's, but how quickly it might progress.
Wow, that is concerning. Makes you think about people living in cities with all the traffic and industry where those pollution levels are often higher.
It's definitely a big concern, something researchers are digging into more and more. And this study didn't just look at PM2.5, they also investigated another common air pollutant, nitrogen dioxide. You might know it as NO2.
NO2, now that sounds familiar. Isn't that a big part of car exhaust and industrial emissions too, along with the PM2.5?
Exactly. And just like they saw with PM2.5, the study found that being exposed to higher levels of NO2 was also linked to a higher risk of developing Parkinson's. It really gives us a clearer picture of how these pollutants might be affecting our brains.
Okay, so we've seen that these air pollutants, they're linked to a higher risk of Parkinson's. But how are they actually affecting the brain? Seems like something you breathe shouldn't be able to mess with your brain like that.
That's where it gets really fascinating. PM2.5 particles, they're so small, we're talking nanometers here, that researchers believe they can actually get past the blood-brain barrier.
The blood-brain barrier, that's...
That protective shield around our brains. It's supposed to keep harmful stuff out.
Right.
And these particles, they're tiny, they can slip right past it, and once they're in, they can cause inflammation, oxidative stress, both of which have been linked to Parkinson's.
So it's like these microscopic particles are getting past our defenses and attacking brain cells. That's kind of scary.
It is a bit, yeah. But it's not just the PM2.5. The study also found a connection between NO2 exposure and dyskinesia.
Dyskinesia, that's the one with the involuntary movements, right? Like twitches and spasms.
That's it. And they found that people exposed to higher levels of NO2 were more likely to develop dyskinesia, which is really important. It suggests those pollutants might not only be playing a role in getting Parkinson's, but also in how the disease actually shows up, how it progresses.
Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here. More pollution, higher risk of Parkinson's, maybe even impacting how the disease progresses. This is all pretty alarming.
It is, but I think what's important here is that this study isn't just about raising alarms. It's about giving us information, pointing to the possibility of prevention even.
So what does this all mean for us? We're not talking about some abstract research here. This is about the air we breathe every day, especially in cities, right?
Exactly. This study really points to how important it is to be aware of air quality, especially if you're living in a place with lots of traffic, industrial areas.
Not about panicking, but definitely about being smart, making good choices for your health. And this just adds to the reasons to get behind those policies that are trying to improve air quality, Like, imagine if we could prevent some of these Parkinson's cases, or at least delay them, just by cleaning up the air.
Powerful thought. Taking action now, having a real impact on health down the line. And it makes you wonder, what else could be connected to air pollution that we haven't even discovered yet? It's like a wake-up call, right? To really think about the big picture of what we're breathing.
Definitely. So after all this, what really sticks with you? Has it made you rethink your own exposure to air pollution at all?
It's a lot to take in, but it really underscores how connected our environment and our health are. And it's not just about the research itself, it's about what we do with it, how we turn these findings into positive change.
It's a good reminder that taking care of ourselves and the planet, they're not separate things, are they? We're all in this together, breathing the same air. Time to recognize that connection between our health and the environment.
Couldn't agree more. There's so much more to learn about air pollution, how it affects us, and how we can create a healthier future. We'll be sure to keep you updated as new research emerges.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today, everybody. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and take care of yourselves.